Well, hello there, everybody. Let me turn down the music, but Trina, I can't turn down the music because the music is in my soul, man. so
This is true, Wayne. This is true.
this is
I
true.
must agree.
So, welcome everybody. Good to see y'all. We just be speaking favor all over y'all. That's all we got to say. And we interpret favor here as you're in the best position to receive the best of what this realm has to offer. So grab it, baby. Bosto to everybody. Happy birthday if you have one, and we're prospering. And so this is a second look, and my beautiful co-host, Miss Trina. Hello, darling. How are you?
Hello, Wayne, and hi, Soul Tribe. Good to
It's
see
the
you all.
Soul Tribe. Hey, Lauren, how you doing? David Barry, I have had you on my spirit. I mean,
I have too.
yeah,
Interesting you said that, Wayne. I have
yeah.
too. Well wishes to you, David.
Yes, David, we'd be speaking
Yes,
favor all over you,
much
John. That's
love.
all I got to say.
Much love.
As I was shaving this morning, and shaving is kind of like meditation time, it's mirror time. I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. And
Yes.
along came this thought, and I said, "What's gone on?" And it says David Barry. So I said, "What?"
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway,
Interesting. I was thinking about him and thinking about asking him to participate in some new work with me. And
well,
yeah, he's been on my mind for a couple of days.
and Grandpa Brian, how you doing, brother? Grandpa Brian told me that he's going to have to push back the gathering because I think there's only
I
like
heard that.
five.
Yes, I heard when he
And
announced it.
it'll happen. And then when the
It
time
will.
is right,
It will.
it will. And so when the time is right, I think at least 50 of us will show up. So
I
who else
think,
is
yes, I think you're absolutely right, Wayne.
yeah.
I've seen it. I've
29.
seen it.
Wow. 29
See?
thumbs up. See, and
Yeah.
60. Yeah, wow. I tell you what, that number 29, it's for me, it's like, it's these constant guideposts. I could tell you, Miss Trina, of at least a half a dozen more things in a single day where the number 29 will show itself. And I feel like now I'm Arlo Guthrie at Aunt Alice's restaurant and but anyway, it's everywhere.
That is amazing. Every time you say 29 too, I see 11 and I see the duality pillars of creation. Boom.
As I'm studying this thing out and digging deeper, 29 is one of the more special numbers. It's because if it goes backwards, it can always revert to 7,
Yes.
and then if
Creation.
you go forward, it's 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is the first
And
level of
2
mastery.
is perfection, isn't it? Isn't two, is that what 2
Two is
represents?
balance. It's masculine,
Balance.
feminine. Yeah, it's
Okay.
balance.
Yeah.
Two is
So you have the balance, the 9, which isn't that what the completion?
9 is awesome. 9 is the completion.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have the balance and completion. Hey, I'll tell you what, I'll take
Yeah,
that any
that's what I'm
day.
telling you. It is a powerful number. That's like
Yeah.
me. I got 16, and it's the
16.
representation of the tower, but 1 and 6 is 7. So it's also creation. Yeah, it's a powerful,
And
powerful number.
5 is a powerful number.
Change.
5 change all the time. Change.
And
Yeah.
it's our hand.
Yeah.
It's
There
our
was a
hand.
time when I was on the road, when Lynn married me, she said there for the while, she said, because I was always gone. I was gone sometimes, 30 days at a
Yeah,
time. But
right.
5 began to show up.
Mhm.
I'd be in a restaurant and when the waiter or waitress would bring the check, it would be 555. I was at DIA getting a quick sandwich between flights, and my number that they called was 555. And then when I got the receipt, it was 5555.
Wow.
I mean, and this was happening in November of 2014, and sure enough, along come 2015. Holy freaking Batman! I mean, change everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, pay attention. That's all I
Yes,
got to say. Hey, Mary
absolutely.
Wins, how you doing? Boy, there's a lot of people. Divine Interest, how you doing? Heidi, love, how you doing? Um,
Everybody.
I got your email, Heidi, and so when you're on the beach, light one for me too. That's all I got to
Yay!
say. Well, light one for Trina too, then,
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's all I got to say. Hello, Nancy. How you doing, darling? Good to see you. We got a full house in here, Trina. I
I
mean,
love you guys.
Courtney Mack is in. Good to see you. Robert V is in the house. Yeah. I like he does the Western series. It's, little vignettes. I like that.
Yeah.
Truth Seeker.
On, and he's been doing some good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, people just coming into their own, just, wow, just blossoming. That's cool. Hello, Brandon. How you doing?
We're all different fractals of that consciousness, that whatever God, you want to call it, God thing.
Whatever.
We're all different parts of it. And that's an amazing, powerful thing when sparks of God come together as God. Wow.
Yeah. And into whatever.
Have we cooled down Europe a little bit?
I believe we have. I mean, this group did it.
And we've got rain. It rained all night here. It doesn't rain here like that. It rained hard last night here. Hard.
This group did it. I didn't say anything because the evidence is everywhere. I mean, we heard nothing about the prognosticators, heat, and it was hot. I mean, I think I read over 1,000 cattle in Kansas died of heat. So this group got together, and you know why, Trina? They got together in unity and love. There was no bickering. There was no sides. It was
no
just
agenda other than just to help each other and help our planet to have a little bit of balance.
Yeah. So, way to go.
Beautiful.
That's all. Y'all are just far out. That's all. Hey, Dick, what's up? Good to see you, brother. Mary, let's see. Skyheart, Wayne, how you doing? Still no rain in Texas. All right. So that's what we'll do.
Let's work on Texas.
Let's just
continue to work on Germany. Let's continue to work on bringing that wet and stuff away from Australia over here because we need it. Yeah,
up in the earth. Did you hear up in St. Louis? They had in 5 hours they had 10 inches of rain.
Oh my gosh! And
so Interstate 70. So we don't want that, but what we would like to do is break the drought down in Texas because, and let me just say this is just me, they've weaponized weather.
Yes.
And, I always find it interesting when you begin to find, it's almost like they're under a magnifying glass,
Yes.
Well, let's put Texas on the map.
Yeah. Well, the thing is okay, if they can modify weather with technology,
they can.
We are the ultimate technology.
We are.
So that means that we can modify the weather with our internal technology. So we can balance the weather with intention.
Well, let's see. The winds are spirits, are they not? Because I mean, in my indoctrination, in my religion, my former religion, I knew about angels, and the thing that I knew about spirits, and there's two different things. And if you read in the book of Revelation, you find that the four corners are actually four spirits. They control the wind.
They're four angels.
Whatever they may be, they control.
They are, Wayne. All the old maps, the really old ones, they show the earth as a square board. And on the four corners are four massive angels, one on each corner of the playing field. That might be accurate. It might be. There
is so much, in the mythology, and that's what really the Bible is, and all the rest of them. I was listening to Sean Andrews, the Thinking Atheist. And if any of y'all want some really deep, good, intellectual, unbiased discussion about religion, even the concept of God. And he had an interview he was talking with was an ex-Baptist preacher. And I find it amusing because the ex-Baptist preacher, when someone talks to him about God, he says, well, where did you learn about God and who taught you? So I'm going to ask you that question. Where did you learn about God and who taught you about God?
When I was 3, I had the invisible friend, the Lord, and I went to church and he told me not to go.
A lot of people get that confused, hon. When you say Lord, they get, I've seen the comments that people are, it's not like the Lord Jesus Christ. You're using it as basically a title. right?
Well, basically that was the name that was given. So why would I change it? You know,
Yeah.
that's what
It's like Mr. President.
Well, everybody in the place that I would go with him addressed him as Lord. So that was just it. Hey, Lord, 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 that like literally, hey, Lord. That's what they addressed him as. So that was what I knew. He does look like Jesus though. Because when I saw a picture of Jesus on my neighbor's wall, I was like, that's my Lord. She's like, yeah, that's our Lord Jesus Christ. I was like, how do you know him? So I thought he was real.
So
In
do
the
you
real
believe
world, like,
in a
yeah,
white Jesus? Why isn't he black?
I don't know. That's a great question.
I mean, come
But
on. I
you know
mean, if
what?
we're going to get serious about the point, the
You
context.
know, you know what's so weird? It's an image in my mind that before I had any indoctrination to it.
Yeah.
So that to me is the most profound question I've ever held. Is how did that image get in my mind before I ever was introduced to it in this world? So there was something to that was interesting to me. But anyways, the whole essence of this, the funniest part was I learned everything about God through that being telling me that we were all parts of it.
So
And
how
that
then here's a question I'd have for you then, Trina. How could you trust that being since you had no previous knowledge? How do you know it wasn't deceiving you?
that was this cut myself out of the serpent revelation when I realized that religion was a program and that all these things in a potential simulated reality are very much probably just figments of our imagination, and that there's no real foundation for this separate individualistic person that we call self. It's a fractal of what you really come from, which is a source creative energy that's profound. But there are gods, lower level gods
Now that I
emanated
agree with.
from creation.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is one of those, but it's not God. It's not. So that was when I learned that part, and I dropped all of the idols, even my own me. I'm an idol. I'm a figment of my own imagination. And when I drop my
I'm
body,
sure there's been a few men who've worshipped you, so I can dig that.
well, thank you. But when I drop my body,
Afar and near, right?
Yeah, but what I am, I'm going to return to, which is not this body. So I know that I'm more than this body because I remember existing before this body. And that was the key, I think, that saved me, because I remembered being alive before I was born.
It's interesting on that, because then that gets into the whole thing, then what is the purpose? Because, we were talking in this show, they were talking about how we as a society, we are messed up. Humans are just messed up.
Wait,
because
I asked that question this morning, 20 minutes ago. I was like, I'm so confused on what is the point here? Is this good or is this not good? I was like, I don't know.
I mean, you think about, when most people have their projection of God is usually through their parents, somewhere within the family structure. And why we as a species find it so necessary to indoctrinate our youngins coming in. I mean, because children by nature are trusting.
If they can,
and they're so often deceived because they're taught of a God that is primarily through the lenses of the parental figures.
Correct. And see, that's the reason it was done, because if you can corrupt the mind of a child and isolate it through fear of punishment, it loses its ability to express the creativity that it came here to express.
That's what I loved about J. Rowling's books, is the fact that, she opened up this whole idea that magic is tangible. And that if you're a child, you can work powerful magic.
That's why I could levitate kids when I was little. I didn't even try. It was just like, well, duh, that's how it was. It was like, this is easy.
We need the Xavier Institute, because as you and I've talked about.
Hi, friends.
Hello, how are you? Let's see if there's anyone here.
Right when we start speaking about schools and children and helping our children open back up their powers and their creativity and letting them be more allowed to be what they came here to be, not telling them what they should be.
There's someone in here that is on the REM pod.
Awesome.
I don't have the Connect camera. It's on the other side of the room, but I would really like to see that. So let's see if there's anyone.
Wait, and I got a message
It's warm.
before we went live, y'all, and it said it called, like somebody
We were talking about
called,
Brian.
Yeah, we were talking about Brian, and then it said called.
It's really active in here now, Trina. Remember, maybe it was like it was just planned.
I wonder Brian went and got some friends.
Bright. That's what it says. It's bright. Wow, it's going off. There's so much energy in here. I've never seen it like this.
Bright?
Yes, it did. And
our light is bright.
And
that's so awesome. We love you, friends.
Wow. Folks, I mean, this thing was just freaking out. I mean, it was, I've never seen it do that.
Yay. Paul. Happy friends.
Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Oh, Paul's a minute.
Dress.
Let's see.
Button.
Wow.
So a dress and a button and wow. And again, you can see it. It's just going off the chart.
Wow.
Okay, so
technology, so we can hear you clearly.
Metaphysics. Now
there we go.
Now
metaphysics.
They just pulled this right out of wherever.
Wow.
Below. Let's see if
metaphysics below.
Seen.
Metaphysics. Himself.
Wow. Okay, Brian. This is fun.
Wow.
Wow. This is so interesting. And whatever is here, the temperature is now it's saying Wednesday, and it is going crazy.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. All right.
I've called him in, Wayne. I told you I called him in.
Y'all just take a seat. Just take a, come on.
We're having a little fun with our friends.
That's exactly it.
Right.
Julie, much love to you too.
We're trying to get the evidence, Wayne, that we're trying to find evidence that what we are perceiving is real in this reality. And this is how you do it. And thank you so much for finding these great tools to try to investigate consciousness and how it's linked to the unseen as well as the seen worlds. And it's all around us all the time.
All the time. And as I told Lynn, these are not toys. These are tools.
That's exactly right.
At first, she was more inclined to think of the toy aspect until she saw for herself whatever we have in our house and was doing work last night. It's here. It doesn't harm us. It's about 4 foot tall. And it's much to what the pictures, I actually caught it in the formal dining room, and it was very interesting as it was walking. So it's about, like I said, about 4 foot tall. So I don't know.
Interesting.
It is interesting. I mean, and you were so right. As you said, if we really believe in spirits, they have to be all around us.
They are.
They have to be.
I know they are. The elementals, there's so many kinds. There's so many different.
There are. And there's so, it's so multi-layered.
Yes.
And I was saying yesterday, Trina, that the, whose birthday is it? Someone's saying happy birthday. Julie. All right. Well, happy birthday to you, dear.
Birthday.
That there is just, if they exist, and if we exist, and you think about the pioneers, as I was studying, we know the first recorded case of a seance was done back in the 1800s. That was the Fox sisters, and they were experiencing, wow.
Yes.
Somebody is here. It's very active.
They're telling me, they're like, it's so simple if you can understand that only the things that we perceive are because of what we can see with our eye.
Bingo.
That's why we
Bingo.
perceive different when we go within the inner eye, because then we see a different reality. We see a different layer of the reality that's existing in the same space that we are existing in. So this is
and that's how I'm going to approach my investigations. I see so many that they act as though these spirits are dumb. And I think that's insulting. If a spirit is in fact, chooses to be here on this earth after their physical departure, or is in fact trapped here, I think that we should always approach them as intelligent, sentient beings, and they're not afraid of technology. They understand it as well as we do. They watch.
Bottom line is they're one of our brothers or sisters.
They have, unless they're not human.
Well, I don't even think it matters if you're human. I think it all comes from the same thing in this whole omniversal whatever this is. And there might be more on top of that. I don't know. I can only conceptualize so big before my brain explodes. It's too much. It's too big to conceptualize in a human mind. But what I have been able to perceive is so big, it's beyond comprehension. So just to limit that God created just us, I think that's just crap. Just like we're the only life that exists. I think that's just crap. What I've seen is so big and so vast, it creates everything. With no bias, it creates all of it. It's all of it.
And someone, Skyheart was saying,
a bubble. This could be a bubble.
It is a bubble. And
it could be.
The approach that I'm looking at this, is by approaching this as intelligence. For if something is interfering with that,
yes,
then it's really strong now.
It's intelligent. Yes,
it's very intelligent.
Yes,
I have no doubt. And if I had my SLS camera up here, I have no doubt next time I will. But here's my point. So if you have, for instance, people believe in this thing called Jesus, so Jesus is a spirit. Jesus is a dead spirit if Jesus exists, right? And everybody believes that, this Jesus is living in my heart because this is where God is. We don't know God. I contend, and it's like I was listening today with Sean, and I agree with what his guest has said. He has a book called out, by the way. It's We Don't Know Shit About God. And he brings out all of us, we're contaminated. We have, unfortunately, if you live in the United States and particularly Europe and others, you have a heavy concentration of this mind virus that you really think you're talking to God. Because you can't tell me God, you can't tell me where God exists, but you will fight me for the right to say that God exists. Okay.
See, I got the opposite argument.
What's that?
It's not really an opposite argument, but you can't understand God until you fully understand that you are part of it. So there is no one that cannot know God. Because God is everything you see, sense, smell.
So why do we call it God?
I think because we don't have a better word for it. And I think God actually came from Gad. And Gad came from the worship of Jupiter, which means luck. So maybe they would worship God to bring in luck or favor. That was their way of doing it. So it could be like a slang term for bringing me luck, baby.
Well, it's like love.
Most of us want from God is bring us favor and luck and protection, and we want good things from God. So we're bringing in good stuff. So I could see how Gad went to God through the luck, through the Jupiter thing. So that's my only, in my mind, where that probably came from. But there's no name for what we would call God. It couldn't have a name, Wayne.
Well, that's my point. It couldn't have a name. The minute we assign God to it, it's no longer the all-encompassing whatever this energy source is.
If it could have a name to me, it would be I am all that is, and I am no thing existing at the same time.
What'd you think of that book yesterday? that's showing that there is an unholy trinity between Jesus Christ, Michael, and Gabriel, that they are the deception of destruction.
I told you algae, Adam, Lilith, Gabriel, and Eve. I saw that connection in that trinity created the four corners. Holy shit. Wow. It did. You're right. That's right.
And there is just so much that goes into that, because the story, it was real interesting. And this, for discussion, folks, those of you who come out of Christianity, this will be interesting for you.
Yeah.
So which was the first book in the New Testament to be written?
I don't know.
I wouldn't expect it's all right. Many people think it's that's the Old Testament.
Yeah, I know the old one really well, but
yeah.
The new.
So the New Testament, what was the very first book to be written by, and by whom? So this is an interesting thing. If Jesus Christ actually lived, and the stories that everyone thinks was the beginning, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the first books were to be written in about 41 AD by Paul. Now, Paul, in his writings, never mentioned the virgin birth, never mentioned any miracles, never mentioned any crucifixion or any resurrection.
Yep.
So if he was the first one to start writing the New Testament, wouldn't he have put those in as tantamount pillars of the faith? And then why was it then another 32, 33 years later that we get the first rendition of these four gospels, of which none of them match up? Oh, this gets weird. I mean,
I know. And then when you get the Nag Hammadi involved in it, the older scriptures, then it really starts throwing some wrenches in the whole thing. These are just translations of ancient teachings, and they've been used to put us into a spell, basically.
And you look at it, religion cannot exist without politics.
And it means religion. The legion.
And
yes,
the interesting thing, if you believe in the Jesus story, then he is probably considered the most mass murderer terrorist there is, because what did he say? Go ye therefore into the world, and basically submit the world to this belief. Anyway, people are going, what the hell?
Then you look at the Yahweh thing, and then that one killed a whole bunch of things. Yeah,
well, how about it in Hosea, where it talks about that God, Yahweh, came from Egypt?
And I think that Yahweh was the son of a higher God that was a hidden name God. And I think that's the whole hidden name thing. And there's information coming out about that right now. People are uncovering it. So these, again, are.
Do you believe that? I mean, here's my suspicion now.
Lower G gods, Wayne. They're not God. They're lower G gods. They're little guys.
I don't even think the big G exists in the aspect, but you know, I have a real. What's that?
I said, how could it be an aspect when it's everything? That's what people don't comprehend. It's the fabric of anything that could have any kind of consciousness. It's the fabric of consciousness.
But see, here's the thing, that the minute that we submit to that idea, then we submit to a law.
True.
Now, one of the things that Paul did say, he said, if there is no law, there is no sin.
True.
So, all right. So
I can comprehend that. I totally can. And that is true. That is true.
And that's the problem with even metaphysics.
No, that's the whole get rid of the false idol. When you croak, when you die, you got to remember you're not yourself. Be ready to release it. That's what that means. Be ready.
I'm just looking at the chat room. We got them going. And that's what this discussion is about. Because
this is about the identity. This is all about identifying things. If you stop identifying things, you merge with all of it. And the first obstacle is yourself, Wayne. That's going to be the hardest concept to drop. You
realize that the great deal of the population believes that we are being punished by God.
Yes, because they're not taking responsibility that they are God and they're the ones doing this and they will be responsible,
They
not
burned
God.
us at the stake for saying that in
Right.
past times,
But it's the way it's going to work. I'm sorry, but that's how it's going to go down, guys. We will be responsible
So
for the works out of our hands, period.
this is really strange because when you get into this, so the CDC has brought in a new classification. We all know of what SIDS is, that sudden infant death syndrome. But there's something going on right now. We're in a time where something is afoot. And when you got the National Institute of Health as well, bringing out this new classification called sudden adult death syndrome. And if you go, ladies and gentlemen, and start looking at your obituary page in your city's newspapers, many people, my grandmother did. I remember my aunts always read the obits, so-and-so died down the street. And many times the obituaries, depending on the size of the city, half a page larger. But here's something, and I got this from Southern Prepper One, from a woman who wrote him from Colorado Springs to be specific. And she follows the obituaries. And wow, in Colorado Springs, 8,000 plus people have died this year. And the vast majority, when you go and research this, you will see that they fall between the ages of 20 to 50. And by their names, it has died suddenly. And this is, so what I did is that I just went online and went to a few cities. Something's up. So then I went to, you can go and actually look at the actuaries for life insurance companies. And if you look those that are traded publicly, you can actually get an inside peek of what's going on with the companies. There are a number of underwriters who are underwater because they're having to pay death benefits to an age demographic they were not anticipating paying anything, particularly death benefits. They were anticipating the ones they're having to pay to have paid into the system.
I know. I saw this. I saw this a couple of years ago when all this crazy stuff started happening, that there was going to be the sudden adult death syndrome, which is crazy. It's called SADS. And, many of us kind of had the forewarning in our spirits that something was going to happen.
I wish they would have said something, because this is,
wow.
There is something.
Yes, it is. That's really powerful.
Wow, that is very, very.
That's confirmation. Thank God the ones that knew, because many didn't.
Wow. Yeah, it's alarming. I've contended.
The children, Wayne. The children too. They're not.
I don't know about the children. I only have the statistics
out on the children too.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I just want to say, okay.
I just know many have expired.
Yeah, I don't have numbers on those. I did look at these for the actuaries, and the age demographic between 20 to 50 is
they've never seen before. This is crazy.
It's escalated, but it's between 45 and 57%.
Yes.
Increase.
Additional payouts that they never anticipated.
They were,
that's high.
Yeah.
That's off the charts high.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're talking, a lot of them might be going under because they're backwards now. They didn't anticipate this.
It's interesting because I look at this and I go, all right, so there are a lot of departures.
Yeah.
And it's interesting again, because again, I've seen it in the astral, what it looks like. I mean, it's an amazing picture that I saw. Now, people may see it differently, but there's this transitional realm, which, let me bring this up, Trina. Want to talk about realms because this is interesting about where the word comes from, the canon. Let me go over here for a second. I'm going to put you and I. There we go. So this is the canon, the sacred law on what realms mean. A realm is an 8th century CE word defined by the sacred law, to describe a political region or the hermident's estate over which a sovereign is granted to rule.
Yes.
So what sovereign is ruling over us? The next word, Canon 5465, the word realm is derived from the combination of 2 Latin words, res re, meaning matter, business, transactions, possessions, wealth, money, interest, and alma, meaning kind, nourishing. Holy crap. The birth certificate thing, all of this, we are valued, apparently also in the ethereal. Canon 5466, by definition, the original true meaning of realm implies an obligation of the sovereign to tend, nurture, and develop kindly and fairly those territories for which they have authority. This is why something's wrong here, because this is what we are living in today is a violation of the sovereignty law of the realm.
And that's why they call it territories and counties. They won't even allow that word to be used because it activates the powers within it. Oh, Wayne, you're onto something big with this.
Canon 5467, because of the implied obligations of kindness, justice, and improvement within the meaning of realm, the word was depreciated by the Venetian, Magyar heads, and the Roman cult for terms rooted in pure power, such as dominion. Now, this is folks, I know many of you are grasping this immediately. So we no longer have the sovereign, we have now the dominion. And this is what Paul wrote about, was dominions.
Yes, and the word was depreciated by the Venetian.
Mm-hmm.
Which Venetian was that, Paul?
One would have probably, we know it came from Rome. We know that's where it started with the
one that took that word and made it unavailable for common folk is the one that implemented these new governments.
Well, I wanted to bring out to everybody that you can see something is not right here, where there is apparently, I don't know whether this is an ongoing war, if this is something, because something is driving humanity, Trina, to extinction. We are on the verge of probably one of the largest callings, the largest death calls of our species. And no human, it's beyond. I have people I deal with in very tight circles. They're concerned. They listen, when I hear an individual who that's what they do is work Capitol Hill, when they tell me, wow, there is something going on, man, Trina. Wow.
Wonder if it's Brian.
Or
Paul the Venetian. Hey, that was the first word that came up on the screen, Wayne. I'm just saying, I didn't say it, they did. That's not me, man. That's them. So whatever.
Whatever. But my point is that when I hear them say we need to start thinking about, do we have enough supplies? Now, these are people that live in the Beltway that you'd never suspect. And there is something going on here. The one conversation was this: they acknowledge something's going on. It's like we're being forced, into this cattle pen.
Yeah, you know what? The kids, all the younger kids right now, they're feeling a wave of lost. They know something's getting ready to shift. Yeah, and they're having a hard time. They're really feeling lost. They don't know. They don't see a future. They don't know what to do. They're feeling so lost. Everything that they thought would work one way isn't working that way now. it's such confusion for them. So really support the young kids and the adolescents, because they're really struggling, guys. This reality is really turning upside down, and they know it. And it's
They do.
scaring
They
them.
sense
They
it.
don't know what to do with this. So we need to learn. We have to come together and learn to take care of each other, or we will not make it through this.
We have got to. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, and everyone is sounding the alarm.
Yeah.
Everyone. You know,
Yeah.
I look in the financial markets, and
Exactly.
folks, it's not pretty what's coming. I can't stress enough that this is no longer fun and games. You
No.
can't have your head in the clouds and think that you're going to come out unscathed. It's not, folks. And what we can do is what we do here is saying, all right, that is that. We can, I believe no one is pushing back hard enough on that yet, Trina.
No.
Now, there is going to be, because of the inertia, an effect. But boy, if we could just get, I often say it, enough of YouTube channels alone, if we were to come together in like in a YouTube summit and pull the diversification of all the many different creators out there, isn't it odd? YouTube calls us creators. So if we were to have our own creator summit and use this as a focusing tool.
Yes.
Imagine, Trina, if you had, I went through YouTube and you can look, if you had the top 1,000 channels, right?
Yes.
You would bring in over 1 billion plus people.
Yes.
That would be impactful.
And Wayne, I do see it happening on small levels, just like with this weather. Lots of people were doing that and it worked. You know what I mean? But we are dealing with some very strong forces, y'all. So this is going to take a little bit of focused energy, because these are powerful forces that we're dealing with. We fight not against flesh and blood. It is powers and principalities we are dealing with. Powers. So with that, but we are the strongest power on this planet. It's our hearts. It's our love. And,
we should do.
Yeah, we could win anything if we could just pull that together, and we will. And
so we had back in the 90s and the 80s, Live Aid, we had Farm Aid.
Yes.
And why can't we do one for human aid? And
you know what? For Gaia aid, of the Earth aid, and all her
well, we
children
have to be something that's going to be able to be accepted by so many. Gaia, I think for the youth, they wouldn't know what that is.
Right. Earth. We could just say for this is about our planet.
But see, Earth Day is already taken. No, that's already taken though, Trina. You already have Earth Day.
I mean, no, our planet.
Yeah, but they're going to assume that to part of Earth Day, our planet. That's
true.
What we have to do is that I'm thinking something like, you know, human aid. I mean, you think about it. We're on the verge of mass starvation.
Sovereign aid.
But remember, we no longer have a sovereign, though.
But we can make one.
Well, I would just wonder, why would we need to make one if there's one out there that we could tie into?
Well, we already are that.
Well, what we can't be, though, Trina. I mean, look at the death that's out there taking place. So something is being suppressed.
Because none of us understand what we even are really a part of. I mean,
now that may be the really big stumbling.
And that is the stumbling block. They've tricked you into contracts of lower level contracts that attach you into the material world, when in essence, you are not of the material world. You're creating in the material world as a participant of it. But that's not what you are. So when you can lose your identity with the flesh part and claim the sovereign part of you, which is the part given to you by your ability to have consciousness and feeling.
Mary Wins says love aid.
Love aid is beautiful.
That is cool.
Look at you go, Mary.
Yeah, Mary Wins.
Mary always wins. Mary's one of my little
Wow.
ones, and she's finding her way through that maze.
Love aid. I like that.
Go, Mary.
Wow, this is really interesting. So there are a number of very large acts, musicians. Of course, they're getting up in age, but this is something that I'm going to send to I have a friend that lives in Los Angeles, and I love that idea, Mary Wins. Love wins, love aid. Love
Love aid.
aid.
We need a little love aid on this planet, and that's
Boy,
exactly what we
that
need.
is
We
that.
need to drink that Kool-Aid, Wayne. A little bit of love aid.
Yeah, I like
We need
that. That
some
probably has
love
a
aid
good
for our
taste to it. I
Kool-Aid.
love that.
Yeah. Our love aid
Yeah.
is the new Kool-Aid. Yeah, bring it, baby.
Hmm. And,
Yeah.
and what I'm thinking is, you know, have music, have acts, but at the same time, have people that will be able, and I'm talking about the people that don't have a big name behind them or anything, but go out there and look for humanity. And there are those who have a message. You know, I remember in one of the rock festivals that I went to outside in Georgia, and Ravi Shankar came in. And, you know, the interesting thing about Ravi Shankar was that he was the one who helped teach the Beatles, particularly George Harrison, in reaching that higher place of consciousness. And of course, George played it so beautifully through his music. But my point is, I can't help but not believe that if Source exists and Source is wanting to talk to humanity, that there's not someone out there that would have that message, that if they had the opportunity.
Yes, they already are, Wayne. They're speaking through channels. God speaks through
Yeah,
them.
they would have the opportunity to speak this message to the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I really do think it will be spoken through the world. But you know what? It's not time for one person to do this ever again. It's about groups.
It's about groups. No, I agree with it. And
Yes, no more one person. This is where we failed over and over, putting it into one person, giving one person too much power. This needs to be divided amongst the people.
And that will be done. I think we could really do this. Music is magic, Maria says. It's medicine. I agree. Ravi Shankar is good, but his daughter, Sheila Sandra, is even better. Well, I'm sure she got the gene from dad. That's a cool, and mama. There ain't no doubt about it.
That's awesome.
So this is interesting. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. It's you know, it's time that we keep. It's the most elusive thing, this unity thing, you know, and I keep hearing many of what I call the straits, and a person who, like I said, have a great deal. And she said, everything is divided. Everything.
Everything.
And I kept thinking, you know, and if the seat of power is divided, well, it's going to send out that same energy out to the country, the nation.
You know, when you can understand and okay, if you can stop fighting the division and understand its purpose, then you can unify with it. So to unify with darkness, you understand that if you're operating as the light, you are here to give the light to the darkness. And the darkness is here to give you darkness to the light, because without friction, we can't exist. So we need each other. And I know that's hard to process, that we need darkness in this world to experience light, but it's the way it works here.
Have you ever studied biocentrism?
Oh, I don't think I have.
Okay, I did about 5 years ago. I did a video on biocentrism, and I'm just going to read this to you because this may help. This is what it says, and I'll just bring this out to you. This plane of existence is dark. Light is artificial. The darkness consumes energy. Light, two types of being. There is the light that is artificial, then there is the light of darkness.
Yes.
Now, I contend I am a being of light darkness. I am a being of darkness because if you read your Bible, that's where God comes from. He comes from the region of darkness. Now, he created light according to what he wrote or what they wrote, and he said it was good. Well, he didn't know if light was going to be good or bad. Now, if you look at this realm, this is the realm of darkness, and we see it in the cosmos. We can see a star even as big as Betelgeuse, but you know what always consumes it?
Space.
Darkness.
Yes.
Darkness.
Yes. Yes. I literally one time, I was asking about the different colors of my soul. And I says, when you break all of the prism away in the rainbow, you take away the rainbow, what is my color? And they were like, black. And it freaked me out. It scared me. And then they were like, don't you understand? That means that you are part of God. That's what it was.
Isn't that what black is? It's the absorption of all color.
That's what it said. You're a part of God, because in that black is all potential. The light is a focused directional point because it's been given inspiration, a direction, a code, a template. The blackness has an empty void. It's all potential. It's everything existing in the same space in unmanifested form, waiting for you to pick.
But it wouldn't be empty. The thing about the void is full.
Everything, right? It's
full.
It's everything. Yeah. If you can think of it, you can manifest it in the darkness. That's
Brandy, you said that right. She says, we all come from the abyss. We entered through the water and out of it. I mean, the veil of the birthing canal, I call it the veil of blood, but it is the veil because blood is water.
Yes. Yes.
You can't come into this realm. And even with a C-section, you're still being brought through the darkness, through the fluid, the water.
Also, too, if the flesh is the veil, if the skin we're in is what gives us this perception, that would be the veil. So that means, yes, even through the stomach, you're going through the flesh, you're going through the veil. Any way you look at it, you're going through that veil. The water.
And that's interesting because, interacting with the spirit beings, and I'm dedicated to this. I am going to be filming this. I believe that we're on, and I think, the paranormal investigators that have pushed the envelope to where it is today, because I believe we're on the precipice of a huge breakthrough. If spirits exist, if we have a life after this, then I believe we're going to be finding that apex where our technology will be able to show us. Now, some people say that's bad. Some people say that's good. I don't know.
Like Wayne, I've been able to see my whole life. Many people can already see these things with their internal vision. They can already do this. This technology is catching up with what many of us are already using. So this is confirmation that what we were feeling, seeing, and perceiving is actually validated now through scientific technology means. Because to validate the invisible world was very difficult until now. With these new technologies, we now actually can do that. And that is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
And who would have thought that the technology of, the developers at Microsoft with the Xbox, right? That, you all right, girl?
Yeah. I was just seeing if I could do something real quick. I was like,
that would allow us to actually, see this realm. I mean, it's right here. So that's what just makes it fascinating for me.
It does.
Yes. Scotty Boy and everybody else.
I love, like I said, it was really hard as a child, having some of these things going on and not being able to talk about it because you just knew it wasn't good. And I was told, don't do that. I was like, okay, but that's hard as a child, and then you learn just to be quiet and go through life. And, only when something's really bad, you'll say something just because you're trying to protect people, but that still puts you kind of on the radar. But, my whole life growing up with this stuff, it was not okay. So, it's hard to finally embrace who you are and be able to validate that what I was doing, feeling, and seeing, I can now prove.
And I think this is where we're coming to. I mean, I think there's going to be, and I know this sounds because so cliche-ish, but, I believe the time of the true gnosis that has been suppressed by those in power for thousands of years.
Yeah, it's game over.
And then this is the thing, they got
great revelation. The apocalypse is here, Wayne.
and that's why I believe that we do tap into the manifestation. I'm very much into it. We're going to pick up tomorrow with more of the ebook with Pam's book on that. But I think that this manifestation ability is growing within us.
It is, because as soon as you're aware of it, you can work with it.
And let's just take a thought right. Go ahead, hon.
It takes practice, and
it does take practice.
The worst problem is most of us give up on ourselves before the manifestation actually shows up. This is where you do need to have that faith, you know.
Well,
when
you
talk
do have
about
to practice
faith.
too. Someone said,
Yeah,
listen to your, I think it's
yeah.
Earth Patriot said, you know, you have to listen to your own tuition. Absolutely. It's like we've all had that, you know, you're parking in a parking garage and you suddenly get this feeling that something's not quite right. So you pick up your step and, you know, you get to your car, you're leaving. Now you may never have seen anyone, but that feeling told you that this was not exactly, this is not the place for you.
Time
Bingo.
to move quick. Time to go. Time to go. That's what I always get. It's time to go. As soon as I hear that, man, I'm door bound. Launched like a rocket. See ya. I don't wait.
Boy, I have gone into some business meetings and immediately, you know, the energy is, you know that whatever that person is saying, they're not being the true self. The old expression, they are two-faced.
Yes.
Yes, that's, you know, Brandy 617 says, is the setup affordable? Oh, I've been saving my Xbox Connect. Yes, it's actually very affordable, Brandy. Email me, and it's if you've got the Xbox unit itself, it's a matter of getting a tablet, downloading the Kinetic software that's used for this purpose, and you get a battery pack. And once you get the battery pack that fires up your Connect system, your tablet has its own battery life. You're good to go.
Wow, that's cool, Wayne.
It's so freaking cool.
I think I have most of those things.
Exactly. It's just then a matter of, you know, again, the lady that I bought it from, Pam, well, there we go.
Do you have the one on that's saying any words? Do you have that one?
I do not. And
okay, if you could turn that one on, that would be really cool, because I want to see if
right.
come through. Yeah, they're okay. I was doing a little project. Yeah.
I do like this thing.
Yes, it's like, could you please communicate with us now?
Let's see who's here. Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. August. Water.
Where? Oh, wow. Thank you.
Inside. What do you have?
Tag.
Play tag.
Tag, you're it.
Fly.
Greater. The signals are so damn strong.
7 years.
67 years. That's how old I am.
Wow.
Wow. Right. Good.
Psychic file.
Psychic files.
Cancer.
The sign Cancer.
Safe.
Yep.
You're safe.
Scott. Brave.
Wow.
Interesting.
Bellies.
I just separated a relationship with a Cancer.
Oh, I can't believe that. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. Right. I didn't call in that. That was kind of what I did, though. I said, bring in my angel.
Sure.
Wow.
Veronica
Oh, is that your
is
name?
mad.
Pastor.
Pastor.
Pen. Kids. Tree. Indian.
Indiana.
Hurry.
And now there's nothing.
Wow.
Wow.
That is interesting.
Cool little thing, I tell you. You're a warrior.
Divided.
Oh, wow.
Don't be divided.
Don't be
Okay.
divided. You're a warrior. Yeah.
Bill,
32 years.
52 years.
Grave. Gateway.
Gateway.
Grave is a gateway.
Yes, it is.
Dictionary.
Hmm.
Form.
Wow.
Dictionary is word form. Okay.
Interesting. So the grave is a portal.
That's what it said.
I've been
That's what
getting
it
that
said.
for 2 days. Yep, the grave is a portal. It's a
That's what it
portal.
said.
Yes. We are
Okay.
portals. Yeah. Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Spread the love. I like that, Scotty boy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Wow. That was
S. Lee
super
said,
cool,
interesting.
Wayne.
Cancer was when the guide stones were taken down. Oh,
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Sure was.
It's Lauren says it's talking about Janice. And see, this is what I love about this
Yes.
technology. You know, it's like,
Yes.
you know, it's all around. Heidi says, I love this stuff. Well,
I do
Heidi, you can
too.
come right over
I
across
do
the
too. This
ocean
is
and come on.
awesome.
We got an extra bedroom and we'll put you.
Right?
Yeah.
This is awesome. I love the one that does the words. It's profound to me.
Wow. Now I have not only the heat, the temperature, but it's green and now the wow and the blue. Okay. Well, this has been fun. I like these little tools, you know. I feel like, you know, it's like, okay, you know.
Yeah. Wait, this is super fun. That's super fun. I can't believe how many words. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's and when you do the alphabet, you know, it's amazing because there's energy all around us.
All around us.
I mean, right now, you and I know there's television waves, there are radio waves, there's microwaves. Yeah, yeah.
All you need is a device to pick up the information. And that's exactly what you're doing. And that is so brilliant. I love it. This is evidence that everything we're doing is real, guys. And we do have power to work with these other entities for good.
And my office door just opened up and there's nobody in the house, but just
I told you I was going to call in my angel. So it might be my angel way.
Yeah.
See if you can catch her on film. That would be awesome.
Heidi says I'm well on my way. All right, dear.
Yes.
It'll be fun. All right, folks. This has been fun. Thank you.
So
you know, hey,
love you all.
You know, we thank you. It's just been a phenomenal gathering here. And y'all are just the best. We thank you. We thank you. Asante, asante, asante. That's what they say. So favorite babies all over you. And, you know, keep on trucking and make sure you smile a while. And Miss Trina, I'll see you next Tuesday, right, hon?
Can't wait. I can't wait to talk to more spirits too. This is
this is going to be a part of our show.
It's fun. I love it.
Yeah,
it's really it's interesting to see what they want to say. Those words are powerful. Gateways. I mean, so much information in just such a few words.
The grave is a gateway.
Yes, and I've been hearing that for days. There's many portals opening up on the earth, but the multitude are those passing away. They open the portals when they leave. I was like, whoa, I didn't even think about that. Oh,
it's like, okay.
They do. That's so true. It's so, I was like, oh my gosh, that totally does happen. Wow.
If anything, that's what I'm taking away from this one, you know, is the grave is a gateway. And it's true. It is.
And I'm taking away, you are warriors, unify.
Someone says, well, work within and to see the natural. We do. But I also say that if you have a tool and you don't use it, well, then you can't really know what the tool will actually do.
I've been working with the natural my whole life, and I know this stuff is real. I want proof in the material realm that I can prove it's real. So, you know, some of us, we've been at this for a while.
So this is what I did last night.
Yeah.
You know, I had the SLS on and I set it down and the bean, whoever was there, it actually looked like it crossed its legs at one time.
Yeah.
So I got my rods out and thought, okay, if we're trying to figure out communication, then I'm going to have to start with some really basic, you know, yes, no.
Yeah.
the freaking rods were just amazing. I
So
mean,
instant, like before you even
yes,
finished the
yes.
thought,
I
they would
mean,
answer
like,
the question. It was answering while you were saying the question. Yeah,
yeah.
that's when you know that you're in that space between time.
So with my wife watching, I reached out and I said, touch my hand, and the figure, literally you could see it extending out, the stick
Oh,
figure out. And this is how it held its representative. Yeah.
wow.
So,
Did you feel anything? Did you sense anything?
I gotta say sincerely, I sensed a presence more than a physical energy.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. It
Gotcha.
wasn't tactile, but
Yeah, but
it
you could
was,
sense
you
it.
could sense it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
was wondering. I was like, could you
yeah,
physically, when it was, trying to
yeah,
go out to
yeah,
physical, I was like, could you
yeah,
feel it? I was like, wow, I
yeah.
wonder how that goes.
Yeah, and I just wanted to see. And so, like I said,
Yeah.
I'm a novice at this. I am using everything at my disposal.
Yeah.
And why not? If they're
Yeah.
there, the next
Yeah.
time tonight, I'm going to be using my spirit board,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Right
and it'll
on.
just be me by myself, but that planchette does move. You don't, one
Yeah.
person can work a Ouija, a spirit board.
Be really careful with that, Wayne. Set up a protection circle
I have a
around
circle,
you.
you know.
Yeah, before you work that, do that,
Yeah.
because I'm telling you, it really does help, and those things can be very powerful. So yeah.
They're portals.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Yeah.
grave is a gateway. All right, everybody. We
Yeah.
love you, man. And ladies.
Love it. I love
All
it.
right. We'll see y'all next Tuesday.
Much love.
And have a great day. Thank you all
Yeah.
so much. And Trina and I are signing off.